Thank you, Anonymous, for gifting a sub to Tech Knight Zero, and welcome to the stream. And hello, Fat Viking. Fun fact, Guan Yu, a general Shu kingdom in Romance of Three Kingdoms, was a god of war that gave him the nickname God of War. He also renamed a whole class of polearms after him. That's cool. So yes, welcome everyone to the last stream for Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations, and therefore the end of our stream of the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Toxie, how are you doing? I'm glad to see you here. I hope you are well. So, are we ready? We stopped partway through the trial, so I imagine the rest of the stream is going to be the trial. I'll be demanding we play the sequels. Well, if I can find a way to play them legally, quote unquote legally, definitely legally, 100% legally, on stream, maybe, but wouldn't miss the last episode, fair.
Hello there.
Dar, how are you? Okay, other than walking over to the bridge, there is no way to move the body. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. With the snow still falling right at stop, does it already matter that much? Yes. Or are you saying that there is a way to cross a burning bridge? So it was just a misunderstanding, I see. This is a photo of Dusky Bridge after it burned down from the lightning blast. It was taken on the morning after the incident. It certainly was burnt to a crisp, and one of the suspension wires even snapped. It's amazing the whole bridge didn't fall. Clearly, it would be impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition. Yes, tier 2 emotes. Well, specifically just one tier 2 emote. But yes, unless I do something to discredit this testimony, it's going to be deemed as the truth. And Maya will be accused of murder. Right, I'm only going to say it one more time. It is only human to err. And only humans can spot the errors of our ways. The more sense he makes, the less sense he makes. Alright, Mr. Wright, please begin your final cross-examination. Moving the body. I'm gonna press everything. Yes, but if the snow had already stopped when the incident took place, I couldn't have crossed the bridge, naturally. But I think it's just like Mr. Godot said. The body did make it across somehow. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. You seem to be quite sure of yourself when you gave your testimony. You said you were sure the snow had already stopped. I'm terribly sorry. I was wrong. Does she really think an apology is going to get her off the hook? Yes. I'm so close to VIP status in my final Titanic flute. Let me just quickly up the values right now just to fuck you over. This is no joke. You're giving sworn testimony in a court of law. Well, Mr. Wright, let me ask you a question. Do you remember what the weather was like 1 week ago today? Well, naturally, it was, burned down my nest. You see, it's not that easy to remember, is it? It's not the same. But if it had been some kind of a special day, I would have remembered. For example, it was pouring rain on the day of my elementary school graduation. You will not steal my loot. No one wants to hear about your childhood traumas, Trite. What? By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. If you insist on obsessing over that one statement, let's see the proof. Show some evidence that the body somehow crossed the bridge while it was on fire. Then that there is a way across a burning bridge. Oops, I accidentally clicked past it, I meant to press. Okay, let's go to the end and press the last one. Well, I don't see why there couldn't be a way across. Mr. Wright, don't you think that sounds a bit silly? Hmm? A dead body crossing a burning bridge? Did anyone actually witness such a thing? Huh. If there was, I don't think you'd call someone like that a witness. After all, a dream isn't the same as actually seeing something. Yep, Larry in his picture. That's exactly what I was thinking. Come on. Time to save, because who knows where this game wants me to present this evidence. SM or T. Horrible sketch. A dead body flying over a burning bridge? I wouldn't exactly rule out the possibility. What? Huh. You're saying it's possible? Don't make me laugh. The only thing that's possible about your claim is that it's been pulled out of thin air. Glug glug. I don't know about that. In any case, we have a witness who did see it happen. Preposterous! Ooh. Who is it? Who is this witness? I can't chicken out here. I've got to keep on the attack and go, go, go. Miss Elise Stonim's brilliant and highly gifted apprentice. Laurie Stonim. Brilliant, highly gifted apprentice? Remember what he said in his testimony? That night he was at the Mountain Shack Heavenly Hall, and that's when he witnessed the event. I think you've all seen this sketch before. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night. Are you serious? Today's not April Fool's Day, is it? Mr. Wright, are you seriously claiming the victim flew through the air? And you're using this pathetic scribble to support your argument. Uh-oh. The judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket. Huh. Well, Trite, there's nowhere for you to hide now. Other than looking like it was drawn by a 6-year-old, does the sketch prove anything? Yes, I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm going to prove it. Listen, I know your tricks. You're trying to turn this whole thing upside down. If you're so eager to turn this case upside down, why not start with this sketch? He saw the reflection. Upside down? Why? Because, like I said, the wires are going up, and they shouldn't be. Alright then, let's hear the defense's theory. What exactly is this sketch trying to show? I don't think old Whisker Face is going to forgive any more mistakes. Yeah, these are meant to be underneath. Let's think it over. This sketch drawn by Laura Stonim is... exactly what happened. Of course the victim was flying through the air. You can see it right there in the sketch. Whoosh. You know, you're starting to remind me of yesterday's witness. What? That was the last thing I wanted to hear. Any evidence the victim flew through the air? Yeah. You haven't discovered a giant human catapult in your temple yet. Is that going to get me a penalty? Even if you're a lousy lawyer, at least you're 1 cup's worth of entertainment. I think we should skip the penalty this time. There must be some way. I just know it. Must be a way to use Larry's sketch to show the truth of what happened. Let me pop a save. Yeah, I was thinking the reflection in the water, but yeah, he was viewing it upside down. Alright then, let's now return to our testimony. Okay, I have to go back to it. Present the sketch. At least it's shorter this time to get back to it. Shows the truth. Very well. Let's hear the defense's theory. It's a complete contradiction. Something is obviously funny about this sketch. I'm no art critic, but even I can see that. No, that's not what I mean, Your Honor. Laurie Stonim stated over and over that this sketch was exactly as he saw it. However, if we're to believe his testimony, then the sketch contradicts reality as we know it. It contradicts reality? This is getting interesting. Looks like you're back to that finger-pointing thing again. Okay, Trite, so what exactly contradicts reality as we know it? The cable? It's this wire connected to the bridge. The wire? Huh. Is that the thing that contradicts reality? It is indeed. Then show us the reality it supposedly conflicts with. Something that will point out how the sketch contradicts reality. I need an image of the bridge. No, that's not an image of the bridge. That's the courtyard. Yeah, it's this then. That's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct? Yes. Now compare the sketch and the photo for a minute. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. But on the actual Dusky Bridge, jumping Jehoshaphat, the wires are below the guard wires. Evening, Vico. How are you doing? Order, order, order. This sketch is somewhat different than what's depicted in the photo. However, it is unlikely that the artist just saw it wrong, or perhaps he just drew it wrong. Either way, it sounds like you're just wrong. Despite the cold, send the cold over here. With someone like Larice, I admit a mistake is a definite possibility. That begs the question, why did he make a mistake? What was the reason? Are you saying you know the answer to that? Or are you battling an X-Men? Because this is Godot. He is the worst lawyer, but he is so cool. Remember what Larice was doing when he witnessed this event? He was at a heavenly hall waiting for a lover that was never going to come. He waited and waited, and finally he lay down. But then, lightning shoots from the sky and sets the bridge aflame. Yeah. Now ponder what sort of position Larice must have been in at the time. He was lying on his back, which is why he remembered the scene the way he did. He was lying on his back. I can't see how it relates, but it does, Your Honor. That is the reason why the wires in the sketch go up instead of down. Ah. Ugh. No way. Larice Dunham witnessed the event while he was lying on his back face up. In other words, the scene that he saw was actually upside down. So then, this sketch should actually... I think you finally get it, Your Honor. Hey, Costa. The correct way to view Larice Dunham's sketch is like this. This is how it should actually look. The victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge, it was actually swinging below. That's right, just like a pendulum. Ridiculous. It's more inclusive, true. Objection. Of all the things to say, a pendulum. Music kicks in, yeah. The bridge was burning to a crisp, there's no way to get across it. If the body had been found in the inner temple, it would have caused problems. This is where the criminal decided to take a gamble. They used the burning bridge to get the body across the other side, and a pendulum was the only way to get it done. Let's think about this for a minute, shall we? Dusky Bridge is about 20 yards long, which means it's about that far from the inner temple to the opposite cliff. Yes, that sounds about right. In order to cover that distance with a pendulum, you need a rope at least 10 yards long. To get a rope that long, you'd have to plan ahead. The lightning strike that might only have been an accident. But it doesn't make sense that the culprit would have prepared the rope beforehand. So then, they didn't have to get the rope ready, the rope was already right in front of them. What? I'm saying that it was just a matter of using what was already there. In that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation to support your theory. What makes you think the criminal had the rope on hand to create a pendulum? I guess it's the photo again? And the meaning of this is, if you want to know where the rope came from, it's hanging right there in front of your glorious beard. Yeah, Vico is not involuntarily celibate. He's voluntarily celibate. Ah, this is one of the wires from the bridge. And the lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire. One of the suspension wires came loose from its anchor. The criminal didn't have any time to waste, so they tied the wire around Larice Dunham's body Whee! Because there is simply no other way to move the body. Ah. Look. You okay there, Godot? Mr. Godot. Seeing that Mr. Godot was more focused on his coffee than answering my question. It seemed that the odds of a rope being readily available were very high, so I suppose that it's not an impossibility after all. There's still coffee in that mug? Possible or impossible? That's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did that really happen? No. If we make it a possibility, then we can't accuse Maya beyond reasonable doubt. Trite, I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence the body was swung like a pendulum? The autopsy report. Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it's the one that was in front of the inner temple. So then, that was the spot where the criminal... Yes, precisely. Let us consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. If the body was pushed from this point here, it would drop on the opposite bank at approximately this point. Did you say drop? Well, they must have failed to catch the body in the bank. Coffee dish enabled by Mug of Infinite Coffee. What makes you think something like that happened? Does I have evidence that suggests her body dropped some distance? What kind of evidence? Take a look at this autopsy report. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet after her death. 10 feet, huh? That's most likely the height difference between the two sides. The body overswung due to forward momentum, then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And then, as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose. Nuts. Yes, this blood-stained amethyst crystal. It's the one that came off of Miss Elise Dunham's staff. Even more important is the place where this crystal sphere was found. Indeed, I believe it's already marked on this overhead map. The crystal was found... Precisely, Your Honor. In the very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed. This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You have provided us with a way the body could have been moved that night. What? An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive. Oh, the coffee. Mr. Wright. I thought this cold coffee might help cool you down. God, Godot's theme is so good. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot? I don't think he has a mug of infinite coffee. I think he has infinite mugs of coffee that spawn from, like, a replicator off to the right. That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Trite. Drunk man finds a lamp with a genie and gets two wishes. First wish him a bottle of beer. Answer is, that was one great beer, I'll have another. But she forgot about one thing. Oh, and what would that be? The aroma. Huh? Well, my internet actually is going down. Hello? Am I back? I'm back. Okay, let me do a thing. Why is Google not working? Speed test. Okay. Why is it moving so slow? Why is it saying no internet? Right, please give me a moment to solve this. Hello? Are we back? Are we back? We appear to be back. Good, yes, hello. Maple, how are you doing? Sorry about all of that. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do. Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it Hazard without an accomplice. Very well then, if you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person that received the body on the Hazakura Temple side? Who received the body on the Hazakura Temple side? Pearl was over that side. She was stuck. She wouldn't have gotten back. But she couldn't have channeled. Who was there on the other side? The only two people... Well, there was myself. There was Larry. Iris, she was identified and all that. But she was seen on both sides of the bridge. I know that, Fat Viking, actually. Is it Iris? Yes, the frogs help keep insects, the frogs keep insects from attacking the spider's eggs, and the spider protects the frog from predators. They can only be used, Sister Iris. Huh? Ah. But I don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body from dusky bridges by snowmobile. But with her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. But in fact, spiders must die. I disagree, Maple. You're the only one that could have managed it. Trite, were you even listening to the witness's testimony? The one that we kept disproving? On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty in the inner temple garden after the mother-daughter bloodbath. I haven't forgotten, but have you, Mr. Godot? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of the victim. Hello, are we back? Are we back? Cool. God, I hate the fucking... it's the only way we can do it because... I just want a direct line to the modem, but I can't have a direct line to the modem. Did I oil the router? No, I fed the hamster. Anyway. The one that's standing there at this witness stand... real name is... Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought I'd have to utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. It shouldn't be, like, I'm on gigabit. So if it was experiencing peak, yeah, if I lost half my network speed, I'd be at 500 megabit. Hawthorne. Sister Iris had a twin sister. And you're looking at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. That name rings some bells, distant bells, but bells nonetheless. Huh. It does your imagination, Gramps. This file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh yes, I remember now. That case, 5 years ago. My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. Ah, fuck off, Pain. No, the honor is all mine. But, according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. It says her execution was carried out last month. So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom. Actually quite true. What? Order, order, order. Wait a moment. How can you... My sister, she's already dead. What kind of... You of all people should already understand, after all. The blood of the master of Curane channeling technique flows within that body. The Curane channeling technique? Now where have I heard that? That's right, you're not Dahlia Phoenix just like ignoring the judge. You're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium. What an exciting story. Exciting, but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder to a temple where her twin sister Iris was? Well, if you're going to put things that way, then yes. We're supposed to believe a coincidence like that just happens? Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. It's all written right here in these instructions. Ah, what's that? These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple. 2 of them? Even the time when the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, in other words, 10 PM. However, Iris was seen before dinner time. That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris, and the Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris, meaning that the Iris Sister Bikini saw at the inner temple was someone else dressed as her, namely one Dahlia Hawthorne. Do you even know what you're saying, Trite? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found plans that talk about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing in the witness stand is the real Iris. What? Dahlia is possessing Iris. Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the inner temple due to the lightning strike. It was later that the body was moved by pendulum. That's right. Naturally, that would mean that the Iris that received the body was the real Iris. Are you with me so far? Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall. There, they found Iris in a room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center. Yes, I suppose. I can't deny any of that. Phew, thank goodness. Looks like he's finally convinced. Something still seems off, way off. I'm still not convinced that the Iris here is the same one from the other night. Huh. Suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous. Like, the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places. Switched places? To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know that unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial. Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia, which means they must have switched places somewhere. Well, Mr. Wright, since the time she was arrested at Hazakura Temple, have there been any chance for Iris switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne? Yes. The earthquake. Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance. Oh, explain yourself. Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown. Unknown? What do you mean? What I mean is, there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely unsupervised. Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect time to move about freely like that? I'm sorry, no, you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris the chance to freely move about was Edgeworth. Ridiculous. Yeah, this is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it? Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not? An earthquake? Earthquake! Oh my goodness! The inner temple! This kind of tremor might set off a nuke. How could I have? She fled. She escaped. We went to the inner temple right away. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne. That's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here. No judge in his right mind would consider the idea of spirit channeling and... Be quiet. There she is. It's been a long time, Mr. Judge. That voice. Guess I'll have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. Dahlia Hawthorne. My current profession, permanently retired. Huh. So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh? Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me. What is going on here? Dahlia Hawthorne. Never thought we'd meet again, and I never thought we'd meet like this. But this time, I'll end it. For her and for myself. To be continued. Yeah, who would have thought her being dead made it even scarier? Drama. Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness. Yes, how can I help you, Mr. Judge? Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, I'll need to hear your testimony. I have no problem with that. When you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown. I am afraid of no ghosts. I got the Ghostbusters on speed dial. In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night. My tags got lost because I had to restart the stream. Sorry. Anyway. Yeah. Why does Twitch have this thing where it removes the first letter of the tags that you put in? God damn it. That expression's so unnerving. I do have to say, Dahlia Hawthorne is a fantastic villain. The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fey would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. Iris or Dahlia, and then if Dahlia, then what sort of punishment could you enact now if she's dead? True. But we're the defense. We don't want to get a punishment for... We don't necessarily want to get a punishment for... Yeah, so we missed a line because I had to go forward to save. Watch yourself, Trite. If you've got a problem, solve it during cross-examination. That's one of my rules. Mr. Cadeau is correct, and by the way, that's one of my rules as well. To kill Maya? Could it be true? The plan. Okay. Press. You were executed last month, correct? So you died last month? Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay? Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her. I see. So that's when you discussed the plan? Yeah, are you crazy? At first, that woman was planning to kill me as well, even though I'm her own daughter. All to make Pearl Fay the master of Curaine? She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. The honor she lost when her younger sister Misty took her place as the master. Ah, there's a hair that's blocking my view. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan. A plan, huh? A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay. Okay. You're talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us. You and your twin sister Iris. That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with her father. Abandoned? The only person I ever really cared about in life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple. You mean Iris? Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? On top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general. How horrible. The really horrible one was that woman. That bitter, vengeful woman. To be fair, I don't want kids. And if I have a partner, I I don't want kids. Mainly because I can only handle so much. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Faye. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power, unfortunately for her. Morgan Faye heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto the poor child's back, all because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family. But for it to work, Maya would first have to die. Maya would have to die? But why? For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master, the remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of. But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya. How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all. That's ridiculous. She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally the life of Maya Faye as well. How could anyone do that? I have to blame Pen and Iris. You're going to kill Maya? Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Then I would have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead and there's nothing any of you can do to me. Grr. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin, on Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. She and I look absolutely identical, no one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it. And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini. I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night, but she wound up seeing Iris' crime anyway. But why did you want to pin the murdered Iris in the first place? Waiting for my brothers to have kids so I can enjoy the only fun part of being the cool uncle and the drawbacks? Fucking same. I'm an uncle right now. She's your twin sister, isn't she? Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her. Backstabber? You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. Okay. You think the plan was a success? You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped, Maya Faye is dead. Now the title of the master will pass on to Pearl Faye. That's absurd. Maya is she's just trapped inside the sacred cavern. Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you? My darling Feeney. It's weird because my GP surname is Feeney. Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your snivelling naivete and your pathetic faith in other people. I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Faye's plan? I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point. No value other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of. If that's how you feel, why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya? You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that. So then tell me why. Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself. For my own personal satisfaction. What did you say? So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead? Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Faye. Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious. So she wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan and her plans so she could accomplish her own goal. All I wanted to do was kill Maya Faye. That was the only way I could think of to get revenge. Revenge on Mia. Looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya, Gotta keep a cool head, and I need to get more information out of her. Okay, let's go to the end. Let's pop a cheeky save. Gotta present that. Yeah, so it was Mia. Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself? As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore, because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either. You want to take revenge on someone? I was sentenced to die because of that woman, Mia Fey. I somehow knew this was it. I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up. And the reason it was impossible was perhaps because Mia Fey had already died. Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead. And how do you do that? Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey. That was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans. Just for that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fey. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless. Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you, there's not a thing you can do to me. That night... At about 9:30, I materialized into this world. I quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon warding hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hazakura Temple. So it was at least Nim who channeled her after all. That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing. She left Maya Fey at the inner temple and wobbled back, clutching her poor old back. What did you do then? That kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern, and I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... So then you're saying you stabbed Maya? It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. What does that mean, no clear memory? I don't know. I think I was stabbed. You were stabbed? At the last minute, Maya Fey must have stabbed me, I'm sure of it. That's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a French fry with a plastic fork. Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness. Before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. I'd hoped it would cast suspicion on her. I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end. That's where my memory temporarily stops. It stops? I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. My very last memory was... Maya's terror-filled eyes. When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred cavern surrounded by darkness. You were in the sacred cavern? The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I had been trapped in there. But how did you wind up in there? I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead. I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I'd killed her myself. For a ghost, you're one tough cookie. I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out. The trick lock stopped you, huh? I didn't know how to remove it. So then you're saying you're actually confined against your will inside the sacred cavern? Yes, I want to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible. But it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it. Interrupted. It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall. What? Who? Could it have been Maya? I thought the same thing. I couldn't see. But why not? If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge. So I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern. That morning, only 2 people could have gone into the training hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging scroll and gravy. Still, I finally managed to remove the lock. But I was too late. What do you mean by that? The flies had already started to gather. The bridge had been fixed and the police had started their investigation, correct? Naturally, I couldn't go out. So instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. I realized I wouldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped. But just then, Lady Luck showed up. Lady Luck? After that big earthquake, she showed up, all by herself. The real Iris? She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was alright. Stupid girl. I came out from the sacred cavern and got a feel for the situation. I locked her away in my place. I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then that I learned that the plan had actually succeeded. What do you mean your plan had succeeded? I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me, I had assumed that it was Pearl Fey. Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions. But I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back was... Misty Fey, the picture book author. What? Well, that's really the only possibility, isn't it? After I lost consciousness in the garden. It was her body that was left lying there. Maya Fey. I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all, but even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit. And that is... tax fraud. Matricide, the sin of killing her own mother. No way! My golly gosh! Order in the court. What is the meaning of this? It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Fey, but even so. The murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fey's life was none other than your darling little Maya. Maya's on trial again. Ridiculous. It's nonsense. Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there? What? What do you mean? What is the so-called evidence? The fact that Maya Fey has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it? No, not at all. Huh? The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple, that much is obvious. In that case, there's only one place she could be. Where? Oh, is she Maya? Oh, the one on Eagle River. What if that's Maya? Eagle River? Maya Fey killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why, in the Eagle River, most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever. Who are you possessing? So, what do you have to say now, Beanie? The Godot has his own theme as his ringtone. Oops. Sorry, that's my phone. What kind of ringtone is that? That's an amazing ringtone. Beep. Godot here. Okay, thanks. Was it something important? They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern. That's great. Maybe someone for jury duty in a case like this? Yeah. Imagine the length of jury instructions given at the end of the argument period. What about Maya? There was a woman in the cave. Was it Maya Fey? It was the accused, Sister Iris. Huh? Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that. So, what about Maya? Where is she? There was no one else found inside the sacred cavern. No, it can't be. She's possessing Maya. That's what's going on. I told you, didn't I? She's dead. No. Why is no one asking who Dahlia is possessing? It seems that this case has come to an end. A tragic end. Sadly appears the killer of Least O'Nim, also known as Misty Faye, was her own daughter, Maya Faye. Going with guilt for what she had done. Maya Faye... Eagle River. It can't be. Huh. Right. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. He's paraphrasing. It's whatever's left, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. At least, I think that's it. No matter how improbable it may seem. What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot? According to this witness, Maya Faye threw herself into the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden, which means if Maya had thrown herself into the river, it must have been from the inner temple side, near the bridge. That's right, that's where she jumped from, but there's a plateau there. But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there. What? Don't get your panties all twisted up, right? Just relax and think through the whole thing again. So it's impossible? Why is Godot helping us? Maya couldn't have thrown herself into the river. Well, Mr. Wright, Miss Hawthorne claims Miss Faye. Yes, we know. Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim? Where is the map? This, yeah. Because Godot is based. Godot is a terrible lawyer, but he is also based. It's impossible to jump into the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness. What did you say? 11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff on the inner temple side is a big rock shelf. Oh. Ooh. You're right. She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we should see her body in this photo. Ah! Ah, so you finally figured it out. You. No! This is Maya. Tenor bets. Order, order. You're just playing with me. Maya Faye's body is at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding. Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Yeah. He just said that. Yes, just a few minutes ago. Maya Faye wasn't inside the sacred cavern. We now know that she didn't throw herself into the Eagle River. Incorrect. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities. Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be. What? What is this one possibility you were talking about? That's obviously a bluff. So where is her dead body then? Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. It's time to save. Normally, the living have no way to punish the dead. But there is a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Or Miss Wright is in this very courtroom. There's only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom. What? Maya Faye is here? You say she's here, in my courtroom? Dahlia Hawthorne. I seem to recall that you said I'd misunderstood one thing, you see. So what? I think there's one more thing you misunderstood. What do you mean? Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne? Why, that's obvious. It's Pearl Fey, that pathetic little sniveling runt. You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it. There you go, channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. Relation, yeah, we know this. Someone else is already channeling. Someone called me before Pearl did? But who? Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime. But she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer to you right about now, am I correct? Ah. It wasn't Pearls that channeled you. There's someone who called you before she could. Where up there? Present. This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it, and Misty Fey is gone. There's only one possibility left. Come on already. I can't stand the tension. Dahlia Hawthorne. The person channeling you right now must be Maya Fey. What? But how could that be? Remember what this witness Dahlia Hawthorne said about her goal. She said that her goal was to kill Maya Fey. Yes, that's right. But if Maya channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her... Huh. Well, Gramps, what happened? Could it be? Looks like you finally understand, Your Honor. Well, I don't. What are you going on about? What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you. And there's only one reason. To protect herself from you. To protect herself? From me? Yes. On the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Fey. The path back to Hazakura was closed off and there was nowhere for her to run. So then the problem became, where would be the safest place to hide? Ah. Ah! You mean, that's when she channeled me? All this time you thought you'd been channeled by Pearls. That's why it never occurred to you. That Maya's hiding place was you. No, don't say that. You're saying that Dahlia Hawthorne, was played for a fool by that little whelp? Maya Fey died, isn't it obvious? Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into the Eagle River. This was the only avenue only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple. I don't believe you. A stupid little girl like that who has never been in the real world, she could never come up with a plan like that. Who could have ever given her such a brilliant idea? Well, me, of course. Mia! Mia Fey. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. Two dead people arguing while possessing other people's bodies. So it's true. It was you. Yes. That's way too much boob. Oh yeah, we talked about that in the second game. Ah, you're something else. But what are you doing here? That hair? It's Pearls, right? Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the inner temple's garden, and then, in the final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness. I was stabbed by Maya Fey. Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you. She did? Violently vomiting, yes. Oh, Costa. Not terribly surprising since she was about to be killed. When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help. So she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do. She did that? I can't believe it. Of course, I didn't have all the details, but one thing was perfectly clear, and that was, I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free. Free? What do you mean? It was a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived. So it was Maya who put that lock on there. Yes, but why did you order her to do those 2 things? If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fay. Pearls? Yes, Pearl didn't properly understand the plan, so all she was trying to do was follow her mother Morgan Fay's instructions. If she'd succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly. So that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Fay to kill Mai at all costs. Fat Viking, how are you doing? Glad to see you here. And so far, so good with the internet. You are extremely ill? Then why are you here? Why aren't you resting? Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along. How dare you? I won't forget this. Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure. Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? That I've just finished a bed setup? What? Liz explained. Well, what do you mean by another? Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes? Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure. What? How dare you? 11 years ago. The fake kidnapping, your very first crime. You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but... After Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed. Shut your mouth, that wasn't my fault. It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman. And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but... You end up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. Bad watching because I hooked up a wireless keyboard. You purchased like 2 days ago and hooked up my PC to screen in my room. Nice. Do you have like the wireless HDMI setup there? Apparently the modern wireless HDMI devices are actually working pretty damn well. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny. Why that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face? And now this. You've messed up again. You let Maya Fey escape, even though she was right there in front of you. Mia Fey. Mia Fey, Mia Fey, Mia Fey. You spinster. I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. And if only you had gotten this spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death. True. I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. Bedroom door open at the cabling because it's extremely expensive to pick the wireless HDMI in my country at the moment. Fair. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all eternity. Remember what you said earlier on the trial? You said there was no way we could punish you, because you were already dead. What about it? Then you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. That's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you'll have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne, a miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. And for you, there is no escape from that, no hope of freedom. Damn, Mia. But it requires import? Okay. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp. You... Ooh. You're... wrong. It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you? It no longer matters. Omega breakdown. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now. Get fucked, Dahlia. Holy shit. we have to fight God now? I'm not ready to go. Lol, bye. The Magatama shape. Nick? Sis? Yep. Knew she was gonna collapse. No one gonna help her, just leaving her like that? Now then, I assume you are the real Iris? Yes, I was just rescued from the Sacred Cavern. I must say you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see. Very much easier to animate if we just have the same thing. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? If you ask me, Your Honor, looks like she went back to the hell she came from. I think that Misty Faye wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Faye, as well as the young Pearl Faye, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan. Yes, Your Honor. The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. Your Honor? Yes, what is it? About this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now. Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to study up on the Curane channeling technique. Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult? I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench, and in all that time I've finally learned this one thing. Each case is different and takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ. Never thought of it that way. Anyway, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor. What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot? This trial, it isn't over yet. Got slapped with a restraining order, can't come within one layer of reality of the mortal world. Nice. What? Trite. Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony? Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern, and I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Through the back, though. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone. Yes, that's right. The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. Elise Donim. No, Misty Faye. But, who killed her? But it's not Maya. We still don't know who did it. Yeah, but it's not Maya. Maya's innocent. You have to look for who else did it. Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. No. You can't let her walk until there is evidence that proves her innocence. No way. But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. The prosecution is ready to call her final witness. Final witness? This one will clear up the whole mystery. Mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Indeed. Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor? Of course it's alright, Madam Attorney. Very well then. Who is this final witness? Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in this case. It's going to be Maya, isn't it? The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes. You mean Maya? You can't. She can't testify after what she's been through. We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Faye to the witness stand. Very well. But first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Faye to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial. Hey, Wright, I've got something to say to you, so listen up. Well, what is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you. You've got some nerve. But that's not going to happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself. That's enough. This court is now in recess. I'm truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me, but I was missing all day and we didn't even have a chance to talk. She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, quote-unquote, they had already switched places and Iris was inside the sacred cavern. I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on. Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you. Why did you help your sister out as much as you did? Huh? If you had tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there. My sister, I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by her mother and never got any love from her father either. Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it? Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. If only Dolly had come with me to Hazakura Temple. I always loved her. Dolly was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why I promised her that I would help her. Are you talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago? Yes. I wanted to be useful to her in some way. But, as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister, Valerie, ended up never thinking about a thing. You know, until she tried to murder Phoenix. Yeah, true. That was the case that wounded Mia so badly. But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder. Some people? You must mean... Yes, 2 defense attorneys. Mia Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth. Dolly even tried to kill the person who unknowingly hid the poison for her. You. Well, that's right. Iris, there's one more thing I have to ask you. Diego. You thought I was a defense attorney, but it was I, Diego. Hello, Asti. How are you? You missed Dahlia Hawthorne getting burnt up. Yes, what is it? On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, least on him, was it really you? Yes, it was me. Sent the video. Don't know what that means. That night, after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my phone. Beep. There's a problem. Come to the inner temple right away. I got in the snowmobile and headed for the inner temple. But the path to the inner temple was cut off, right? Exactly. Beep. We can't just leave the body here. So you've got to do this exactly as I say, got it? It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't bleed too much. The staff that Mystic Elise always held. I knew it. The actual murder weapon was the staff.
Hello there.
Toxie, how are you? You missed Dahlia Hawthorne getting burnt up. Getting exercised and burnt up. Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakura Temple on the snowmobile. But why? Why did you alter the body? Didn't want anyone to know that the staff was the murder weapon. Didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Faye. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with a shito. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground. Toxie, there's no need to apologize for anything. You show up if or when you want to. Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called yourself a real killer. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it. I see. Defendant! Yes? The judge is calling you. He wants you to see... He wants you to... Okay, that's a typo. He wants to see you in his chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne. Alright. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you. Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me? So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning. Phoenix? Mia! How's Maya doing? Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case. Is Phoenix going to learn what sex is? No. I see. You don't mean she's learned who Elise told him where he was? Yes, I went to the medical office and talked with her. I'm still not working tomorrow. I'm going to lay in bed with my bed set up and watch streams and shit all day long while I recover. You do that, Viking. Tomorrow, what day is today? Today is Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday. To figure out what I want to do tomorrow. I told her everything I knew. But why? Maya is stronger than you think. I knew she could take it, all of it. What do you mean by that? I want you to figure that answer out by yourself. The trial is about to restart. The real killer, do you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who called her, but still, I think that just maybe I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the inner temple, and the criminal wasn't just there by accident. Which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning. You're making your Antica character Ancient Greek tabletop RPG? Nice. And one more thing, the victim was moved to the Hazakura temple side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck on the inner temple side for almost an entire day. Exactly. So the culprit was someone that wasn't in Hazakura temple the following day. Fucking Godot wasn't there. It probably was fucking Godot. Me telling my pros inappropriate? Yeah, she's gonna get me banned off Twitch. The rest of the battle is yours to win or lose. Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me, all by myself. You Triclops bastard. Ikohu. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the test we had performed earlier. Tests? Yes, tests on the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. I totally forgot about it. That's the weapon that Maya Faye used when she fought with the victim. Nobody knows what sex is. It's when you play the saxophone right. But due to time constraints, a full test wasn't possible. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood. That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial. That's all for me, fare thee well. You sleep well, Vico. You rest up. So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. Then whose was it? I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Very well, please bring in the last witness. Maya. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Faye, my profession is, I'm the assistant manager in Wright & Co. law offices. Maya, going to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium with the Curian channeling technique. I'm frightened. The Fae clan, I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya, the pain the Fae... Ugh. Wow, my reading comprehension just left. The pain the Fae bloodline causes must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Fae, when the event occurred, you were in the garden of the Inner Temple. And you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Dunham's murder. Is this correct? I didn't see any... Straighten up this instant, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes, so stop showing emotion. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. Stop being an asshole. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please. Yes, Your Honor. Open my bottle of water. Have a cheeky drink. At the Inner Temple. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" And something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been the staff. Maya, the person who hit you, was it Dahlia? It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Huh. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. Seems that it'll be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination. Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. Cross-examination. Who else was on the Inner Temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course, but I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well. On the day after the incident, Edward met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later like she said? Well, let me think. Of course she doesn't look well at all, she probably has PTSD+. She seems confused, probably because she's so tired. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for the training. Someone struck her over the head. Who did it? Who did hit you? Ah, well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind. You didn't see the person? But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was? Oh, let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? Leave her alone for now. Considering the conditions of the crime scene, not surprising she didn't see her attacker. Huh. It looks like even you've got some compassion. Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely the spirit that was channeled by Elise Dunham, Dahlia Hawthorne. Very well, please continue with your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head? Okay, stumbled. What happened afterwards? My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape, I think. You think? After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There were only two things rolling around in my head at the time. Well now, this is beginning to get interesting. So what were the two things rolling around in your mind? My name is Maya Fey, 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was. That's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable given the circumstances. So, what did you do then? So she probably wrote Maya on the thing. I think I screamed, "Help me." You think you screamed, but you're not sure? Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits. Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes. I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope. Well, sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what you meant by last hope. What do? Do I press for more details? My last hope? Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? No, that's what you said. You said my last hope. Huh? What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, help me. Yeah. But you testify that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like... What do you call this one happens? Did she see someone else? So she screamed, help me. Maya's not doing so well up there. Oh, yeah, Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker. That's not who I was screaming at. What did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help. Ah! What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Huh? Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person? I meant to keep that part a secret. Why? What have I done? Huh. It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. A ton of pressure. You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony. I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern. But the lantern was off. So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Stonim, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother. The killer? Maya. You know who killed your mother, don't you? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she is in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony. Upstart Triclops, bit. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? My. Asti, question. You go into work, right? You're looking at your colleagues. Suddenly, new colleague comes in, wearing the fucking Godot eye mask. What do? Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. No. Order. Order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. And then what if he says, my eyes were damaged, I now see through these 3 red horizontal lines. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of café au lait. Café au lait? Is that even legal? Mr. Trite's words are the milk and you are the spoon. When you get the glasses, like, dude, yeah, I know, it sucks, I'm sorry, but I need to know where you got them, though. I'm a spoon, I'm no spoony bard, I'll have you know. You must have noticed it too, Trite. The witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Spoony Bard. Scrollock, how are you doing? Spoony Bard, is that another character that's going to be made? I'm going to cut it. What did you say? If there truly was no light in the garden, there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick? May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. That she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe the person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man. Ah. It calls a spoony bard at some point. Interesting. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person. Despite it being so dark, she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. No. He's trying to protect Godot. Order, order, order. What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch-black conditions? Right. Do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no light source at the scene. There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him. Cover? For the man that killed her mother? There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. Huh. Talk a good game, Trite, but let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black. What could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't. Please, stop. Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. Alright, Mr. Wright, time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness? Mr. Godot. Attorney Godot, sorry. Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show us something like that? It's easy. You need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. Yeah, he goes between like scratching his head like, yuck, yuck, I didn't see that one coming. And then just surgical precision. I think Edgeworth is a better lawyer than Phoenix. Phoenix wins because he tends to be on the correct side. He tends to defend people who are actually innocent. That? What? This is, but it can't be. Ah. Anime aside. It is the keenest intuition of it on the series. That was a nice bit of deduction, right? Well, everyone. This is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Order, order, order. Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Huh. Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya? I thought the person that saw my mother was a man. For a totally different reason. Did he have his dick out or something? Witness. Mr. Wright, what the? Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. I need to download Godot's theme to put it as one of the starting... go to the pre-stream playlist. Alright. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. Didn't realize until after I woke up, but... the killer. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit and the body was gone. And all the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Yeah, his theme was amazing. Aesthetically, Godot was amazing. As a lawyer, he's terrible. What if the person did all the work alone? I just assumed it was a man. Wow, way to be sexist, Maya. It was after the crime took place that the witness came to thinking the killer was a man. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor, No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot says, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you'd be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. The key. Okay. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think. I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. Then the person that carried you into the inner temple, it could only have been the killer. And that's what I think, too. So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. So I go back to the garden. Okay. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with a crime scene like that? It must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I don't know. Looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. Okay. Torches were lit and the body was gone. The torches were lit? Yes. That's how I noticed that the whole scene had changed. When I say he was a killer who lit the torches, I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover work in the dark. But what if Godot was night vision? However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body? That's true, it's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was in the inner temple, Maya. Next Starfinder character will be Godot. That's why I can use his goggles as an actual item. Fucking do it. And tell me how it goes. Very well, let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene. All the snow on the lantern have been carefully cleaned up too. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It would look pretty odd. But he didn't see that. Snow was removed in an unnatural looking rectangular shape around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple. They're all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use. Can't do it in either campaigns? Damn. An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away? Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah. The area collapsed and ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. That the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it. There was no need to remove that amount. That's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood. He had no idea. Looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue. But I think this will help explain. Person did that, I just assumed he was a man. Okay. So you're saying that you never saw the killer, right? Yes. But earlier you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. You couldn't see the snow that was tainted, but he knew it was stained unlike the lantern. Yeah, exactly. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble. For what purpose? Levi knows more than he's letting on. You have to go back to... Was it... this? I must have done it right. Yes, I think so. The hide, The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yes. I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me. For my sake. What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden. She may have thought that you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened? Yes, I'm sure it. Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony. But there was still stuff on the lantern. The body of Elise Donim was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd. Oh, and what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. Ah. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing off the lantern? Ah, you're right. Exactly, Asti. Well, Alan says 11037. Order. But Mr. Wright, isn't the fact that the killer was trying to cover the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, and then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but the fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern, there must be a reason for it. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern? The killer didn't notice it. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There is no way any normal person would. What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. And who would that be? It's fucking Godot again. Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern? There's something written on it. Why, it's written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle. Yep. Mr. Godot. Just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case of Tribulations. This is the apron, the delightful Mr. Yeah, we know this. Will he stop wearing his red shirt? Possibly. There's something still bothering Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup. Because it was red. Huh. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern? Hey, Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. What? I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. But there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. We are now the prosecution. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Donim, also known as Miss Misty Fey. Yeah, this is what I mean. Godot is the worst lawyer, but he is the coolest, I think. It's hard to believe this may be true, however, once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Huh. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on, how does little graffiti make me into the killer? Exclamation mark. Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. Is this rich? Do go on, try it. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow. The snow? How so? Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. He wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area? Yes, why didn't he just take that area? Ah, could it be... Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. And so he had to remove all the snow. He couldn't be sure where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Isn't it more likely the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? The lanterns were lit. Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine. It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot? Wait just a minute. Maya? Phoenix Wright, God of Truth. What is it, witness? Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the Inner Temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after the old bridge got fixed. Maya? You can't testify to something like that. Why? What do you mean? What? Eek. After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. If you didn't, I'm afraid I don't follow. Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right. Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Yeah, she was fucking possessed. I'm to cover for Godot no matter what the cost. If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Huh. Nicely done, right? Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the Inner Temple after the murder. Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling and my spirit left me, as it were. The little Pearly was there at the Inner Temple, too. Okay. Pearly was also stuck in the Inner Temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around, but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. As Mr. Godot arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time, he found Pearly first and cheered her right up. Yeah. Who is this Pearly? That's my little cousin, Pearl Faye. So when did you hear about this? Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office. I'm terribly sorry, but what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible testimony. What? Come on. Pearly would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. Huh. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. Mr. Godot. Let's move on to the cross-examination. If the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but... Well, Mr. Wright? Let's get this cross-examination started. Okay. Press and everything. So where did you think Pearl slept that night? In the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training. But even so, why did she go to the Inner Temple in the first place? The Pearls became very worried about Maya. She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense. Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the Inner Temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise Donin. She looked around but couldn't find anyone. She searched the entire Inner Temple side end to end. Well, you see, Bernie gets pretty scared when she's alone. Not that many places to look. She said that she even went back and forth several times. The Inner Temple side has two structures, the training hall and a spare prep room. There's also a storage shack, I think, that's about it. There's a storage shack too. Pearl's looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined the storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate. That means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack. Using their prep room. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge? What do you mean? I was wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge. Yeah, Godot. Oh, well, Purdy said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times. Poor little girl, all alone like that. Well, we know that she had at least one friend in the sacred cavern, Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the trick lock. She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? Mr. Godot arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. So it was your first time on the Inner Temple side, Mr. Godot? That's funny. Am I imagining things? The defense asked me a question. Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness. What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor. Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh well, what do you have to say, Mr. Godot? Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't have been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I'll pass. So you'd never visited Hazakura Temple Inner Temple, huh? Ah, you want to say something, Trite? In any case, I had to find a crack in Godot's armor. Well, I cross-examined Maya, that is. Very well. Please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman came over to the Inner Temple side, right? Yes, then Mr. Godot. He found Pearly first and cheered her right up. He cheered her up? That's what Pearly said. He said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot. And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. No, his blood is coffee. Ah, cut it out. You're making me blush. This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves, in more way than one. The truth is, there aren't that many places to look on the Inner Temple side. Policemen are all busy going over the garden with fine-tooth combs, so I had to carry out an investigation in my own way. Godot style. In the same way, I like to hand down verdicts in my own way, judge style. And now to ask some questions, Phoenix style. Cheering Pearls up. So you cheer Pearls up? When I found a little girl, first thing she asked about was her cousin, Maya Fey. Oh, really? The bridge had burnt down and she was huddled up in that tiny shack with no heat. Even though she must have had a truly terrifying night out there. She asked about you before she said a thing about herself. Pearly. Noticed that you weren't anywhere on the Inner Temple side, but I couldn't find it in me to tell her that. So I gave her my last cup. With milk and sugar, to hide the bitterness of the harsh truth. What a sweet story, Sniffle. Get a thermos of coffee? Why doesn't that surprise me? Important here. Where was Godot and when was the murder taking place? Let's go to the end again and ask another question. Okay, let's go to the thing. Godot's investigation. You said you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? Looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trite. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Fey, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Western taste? Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy? So from there, you headed for the prep room? Wait a sec. What did Godot just say just now? I think he just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where's Godot? Yeah, so... cheer her right up. I think it's the gravy on the thing. Yeah, thought so. Mr. Godot, The first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the inner temple was long before the murder took place. Why do you say that? Because he just made one fatal slip-up. A hanging scroll in the training hall. Hanging scroll? But Mr. Godot was right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired, 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this. What's that wonderfully delicious smell? The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have any way of knowing that it was Misty Faye. Wait a minute, Nick. Yes? Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look at the top. There's a crest there. Ah, that is the mark of the master, correct? Exactly. So if you know the meaning of the mark, then you could guess there was a picture of Misty Faye on there. True, Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this, clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Oh. Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the inner temple long before the crime took place. Can I ask you just one little thing, Trite? Well, what is it? This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed. And that's right. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene. Of course Mr. Godot knew about the plan. Huh? What did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew of that plan? Opened once before. This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time little Pearls found these instructions, they'd already been unsealed. Unsealed? Yes. The killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was to take place at the Inner Temple. And you still insist this crafty killer is me? You bet I do. You just said that the instructions were hidden. And that's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden. If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out. Yes, and when was that? During a visit. A visit? Morgan Fay told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden. Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center? What do you want to bet that's curry in Japanese? What's curry in Japanese? Yes, it'll be arranged. Oh, as in that it's not gravy, it's curry, true. It has to be arranged if you are someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot. Order, order, order. Mr. Godot, you're under fire again. This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you're the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Yes, that was 2-2. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee. Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid in the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness? That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. I am what you see. I am certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress. Killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even considering the killer wanted to protect his Even if what the killer wanted to protect this witness's life, his behavior is still a little too unnatural. However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all cost. I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick? Maya, I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh? Okay, Trite, I'm all ears. Let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you. What's this? There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. Ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. Mia. There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. Mia Fey. You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney. Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney? With your piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot. His real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right? I'm trying to see if I can make Godot in some weird way there. You can, but it's not. Doesn't really make much sense. Isn't that right? The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago. Diego Armando. That name rings a bell. It should, Your Honor. All of this related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls died. Mia Fey's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. I had no idea. What a twist! She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando was senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked. It's my fault, it's all my fault, Mr. Falls died. Mia, you can't cry yet? The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. I was moved by her, the way she put all her faith in her clients, that pure, sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Me and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria. Ah, I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this courtyard, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see it coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspapers at the time called it a murder, but very little information about the case was released to the press. But you weren't dead at all. No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma. I see. My body shut down and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. My woman's poison did a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight and all my hair turned white due to the damage it caused. And that's terrible. Except for the beard hair, which isn't white. Apparently it was a miracle that I ever gained consciousness. 5 years had passed as I drank that poisoned brew. Then, one morning, my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. 5 years? You were asleep for 5 years? And the worst possible news is waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I'd already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered, and the woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed? The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee, Dahlia Hawthorne. Huh. Good old Mia, she didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up. He started drinking coffee because he didn't want to go to sleep again. Apparently he started drinking it way earlier. Oh yeah, no. He was a coffee addict during that trial with Terry Falls. Mia kept telling the judge that, oh, it wasn't me. It was a coffee addict right here. That's so sad. For someone like me, for someone who had slept away their best days, There are only 2 reasons left to live, and it's for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? The first was you, Trite. Huh? Me? If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey would never have died, much less the way she died. You were the only one who was there to protect her, but you let her die. It was all your fault. It wasn't like that. I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were. So that's why you became a prosecutor? My other reason for living. She goes by the name of Maya Fey. Huh? You mean me? You are the only way I can make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Curine Village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center. He is a great character. Terrible lawyer. I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it. That makes sense. If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out. Finally, the day the plan was drawing near, I contacted both of my accomplices. Iris of Hazakura Temple and Misty Fey. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall on my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fey. But how did you contact my mother? She'd been missing for almost 20 years. Officially, yes. What? What do you mean officially? You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government. Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of Curine had great authority. Even at her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. The police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor. So my mother was cooperating with you? Don't ever forget. No matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you. She was always... That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff. Her staff? The one with the sword in it? The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fey if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. Mother. That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. You mean Pearls, don't you? You had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight? Well, if you like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we can read some books together. We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but she never showed up. She was worried and followed me to the inner temple. Wild American, how are you doing? I'm glad to see you here. Sure, reads books. Glad you popped by. How are you doing? That was the thing we were most afraid of, and that's why Misty Fey had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. What? What do you mean? If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself. Honk! Who dareth honk with me? Nice one. As Master of Curine, Misty Fey's power was supreme. So that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Fey wouldn't be able to. Ah. What? Is this true? My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Fey. And that's why I hid myself at the inner temple. Just in case you needed to be saved from Dahlia Hawthorne. Good on. Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to, Trite. Huh? There's no doubt about it. You're a great defense attorney. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself. The background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only 2 possible suspects right now. Maya Fey, I'm sad to say you, Mr. Godot. Well, Trite, if you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own. No, Nick. Please don't. Maya, I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. That's admitting it, isn't it? I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia. And me, too. Maya, I know that. Nick? But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify. Miss Fey, your testimony, please. This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips. I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick. Alright, young lady. Tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder? Ryan, how are you? This is the final testimony. It appears that Godot killed Misty Fey. Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights, 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but... then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead, though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly, the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just that moment, there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed and lost consciousness. How are you doing, Ryan? These red lights? I thought you said you don't remember seeing them. I'm sorry, I thought I saw them, then they disappeared all of a sudden. Huh. Things break, Trite, even the best of theories. And the goggles. 50-50? Okay. Well, if there's anything I can do for you, let me know. Who was that stabbed Misty Fey? Looks like you still can't prove it. Maya is telling the truth this time, I know it. The rest is up to me. Well then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness. Let's do a cheeky save. Yes. And press until we get something new. Lights shining in the dark. I don't think you could make a mistake about that. Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but... I can't say for certain. And I can't tell you for sure they were from Mr. Godot's mask, either. I don't get the feeling she's covering for him anymore, but... But just after that, you turn towards the lights.
Ooh, eat! Eat!
You turn towards the lights and call for help. Isn't that because you thought the lights were coming from Mr. Godot's mask? Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's what I was thinking at the time. But I can't remember. After all, there was a person I couldn't identify in front of me. While his life was in terrible danger at the time, there's no way she can remember the details of the scene perfectly. Alright then, let's go on to the testimony. What did you do when you saw the red lights? That blood. Was it Dahlia Hawthorne's blood? I think so, probably, just at that moment. I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. It was a woman's voice. Sounds when the killer stabbed the victim from behind with a murder weapon. Is that right? That I doubt Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation. Anyway, the victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. What happened after that? She wasn't dead though, she struck back at the enemy behind her. Struck back? How did you know that? Well, you're right, I didn't see it exactly, but I could tell by the sounds of their breathing and movement, and also the smell of blood. You witnessed more horror than a young lady should ever have to in one life. So then, what did you do at that point? I couldn't move. I could just barely make out the shadows moving in the dark, but I had no idea what to do. Do you still see the red lights you mentioned earlier? Yes, I think so. But... red lights went out and the whole area was dark. They went out? Yes, suddenly I couldn't see them at all. What could it mean? If the red lights were coming from Godot's mask, they went out right in the middle of a fight. Maybe the mask was damaged? Maybe it was knocked off. Maybe the batteries ran out, right? Maybe those little red pinheads looking lights just stopped working. What could have really happened then? There's a horrible scream. No, maybe. Probably could have been. Thanks, Mike. Get up and witness stand now. What do you mean just at that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out? Yes, that's right. The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne? Did the stream stutting or just on your end? It's still going okay for me. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice. What? It's not just you stuttering? Oh god, it is. Something is happening. It's dropping frames. Performance. Getting 2.1% dropped frames. Okay. It seems to be... Is it fine? No, it's not fine now. How is it for people? Okay, that's still fine. That's still fine. It's not registering dropped frames. Are we back to normal now? Are we back to... Okay, well, are we back? Are we back? Is everyone here? Hello? Back. In this case, it's just cursed? Yeah. Okay, come on. Stream, stabilize. Okay, how is it now? Is it starting to stabilize? I think it's starting to stabilize. Okay, so far? Okay. That interpretation would create an enormous contradiction. That makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certainly never correct. Remember the testimony she just gave before the killer let out a scream? Maya said she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade and the staff had already been plunged into the victim. Ah, is that right? You couldn't have struck back with a sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting longer, right? One thing I can think of that could have been used as the weapon here. If Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff, what could she have used to strike back at the killer? Of course, it's the fucking dagger. Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime. Oh, that's right, I forgot about that. This dagger was found at the crime scene and stuck into a pine tree. Yes, the detective found that this morning and brought it to me. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well. Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been from the victim. Have you forgotten that the blood has already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere in his body. So you're saying the blood in this dagger belongs to the killer? Exactly. The DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Oh, drop frames. And yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood. You're okay? Okay. It just popped up with a warning for drop frames. Nice theory, Wright. Order in the court. Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test. Huh. Let me ask you something, Trite. Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think I'd be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? I want to pause for dinner, but I need to pause for dinner. No worries. What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There was already blood on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom. Yes, what does that prove? Well, if I really were the killer, I would have washed the blood off and found another person's blood on it. It can't be. In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, right? That blood doesn't belong to me. Not a chance. Apparently that visor is necessary to see because the poison that Dahlia Hawthorne put in his coffee damaged his eyes. In any event, it seems to be established the killer was wounded. Alright then, witness, continue your testimony. What? Wait a minute. Well, what's the problem? I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation. Maya? This dagger. He said that it wounded the killer. Why does that look like that? Anime. That's right. But, if Mr. Godot had really been cut with a dagger, his clothes should be bloody or have a rip on them, right? Maya? Maybe just change his clothes? That'd solve the contradiction pretty easily. What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder? Everyone that was on the inner temple side got trapped there. And that's right. And once the bridge was fixed and the police headed for the inner temple, Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. Never had a chance to change his clothes. Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him. But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes? Did the judge take the smart pills during the last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. He wouldn't get blood on them. That's impossible, try it. You know how cold it gets up there late at night? Eh? After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid. Huh. So that's all you've got? I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Did he be wounded by the mask? I think so. I think the dagger knocked the mask off. Right now, if Maya Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already. If Maya Fey were here... So come on, try it. Can you do it or not? How about it, Mr. Wright? Can you do a cheeky save so you can save scum if you get it wrong? You've accused Mr. Go of being the killer. Can you prove it? Have you got one piece of evidence? The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is I have to prove it. It's the only choice I have. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. Dude, that's a lot of faith for a person you've only seen in one case, which she technically didn't win. So it's said that apparently she became, like, the best defense attorney in the years. I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition just as you want. Huh. We have the original Cornered. No, we have an updated Cornered. Huh, that's good. A fighter till the bitter end, right? Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't we go for the unlimited penalty? Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? But it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break, you've got nothing, trite. So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I gotta think outside the box and approach this from a different angle. Alright then, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you've got. There's one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. Wait, is this a mix of Mia's Cornered and Phoenix's Cornered? That was proven by the blood in the dagger. But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he'd been cut by a dagger, there should have been a bloodstain on his clothing. There's one place the killer could have hidden his wound. What did you say? Hidden? This is it. My last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there was no bloodstains on his clothing. to show how he hid the wound. It's the end of the line, the final stop, Wright. Let's hear what you've got. Where is this location where the killer hid his wound? Where's the location? Where's the location? Where's the location? The killer hid his wound. Okay, not exactly sure. Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Well, oh, did I get it right? What was that just now? Mia? It can't be. You're living on through him. Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. They blinked at the same time. Super objection! It's beneath your mask! During the fight, the red light's given up and the killer suddenly disappeared. And we have the variation cornered. Can we just appreciate it for a bit? A double objection. Red light's given up by the killer suddenly disappeared. A second later, the killer let out a scream. And that's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved. Explosion! Ah! And blame my wound the explosion. Just now, I saw her spirit in you. Hmm? I never liked you. 6 years ago, you helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care, you just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. I can never forgive you. That's what I thought, Mr. Godot. But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me, and there's the saxophone. You yourself? I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth, to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head-on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask, I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit. But you saved Maya. Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway. What do you mean? Are you listening, Maya? If I really wanted to save you, then there's one person I should have gone and talked to right away. Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick? But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother, but I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Do you know why? The real reason? No? Why? I suppose I wasn't very interested in saving you at all. Huh? I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia, nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation that I knew was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya. Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that? That night in the darkness of the garden when I saw her silhouette, part of me must have known the truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. Robots can't have souls. Excuse you, Legion? It could have been Misty Faye. or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade. It was like I was dreaming. I'm not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Fey? Legion's glorified can opener? Asti? Ban that man. Asti isn't here. 1 second, I'll do it myself. There. He's been timed out. If only you had another mod. Yeah, now how do I untime out? How do I untime out users in chat? Where is it? Where is... There we go. There, he's now untimed out. Yeah, I removed it. Or was it something else? Before he told the truth. How was your stream, Maple? Was it my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could have simply been a desire for revenge. And now, I don't know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. Oh, since you're here, now I can't rage you. Oh well. I finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. The stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. I'll just pretend I didn't stream, okay? You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, as a true defender of the people. Super objection. In that one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando. Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me. Thanks. Your wound, it's bleeding. Ah, did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. Oh, his coolant is leaking. Exclamation mark. These must be my tears. Tears? Ever since I woke up from my coma. I think I've been waiting for this very moment. Mr. Armando. You do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. This time, it really is all over, isn't it? Defendant? Yes, Your Honor? Although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body and the crime scene is a serious offense in itself. I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very carefully. I knew the risk, and I willingly cooperated anyway. Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say? Well, there is one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright. Exclamation mark. I want to apologize to you. Apologize to me for what? For the case 5 years ago, of course. I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your own lover? Not exactly, but yeah, something like that. Even now, 5 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was going to do it. She was planning to kill me. It's not all that surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other. Huh? What do you mean? You and my sister, you only met twice. Huh? We only met twice? The first time we met was on that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this very courthouse. Next time we met her was 8 months later. Met her again on the day she stole your cold medicine. And Doug Swallow was killed. No way, it can't be true. I mean, during our whole relationship, we were... For those 8 months, the woman that you thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister. Huh? It wasn't Dahlia? I hope one day you can forgive me, Beanie. You mean... Doing twins? Nice. That's right. I lied to you for 8 months. But why? Why would you do such a thing? Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of the police investigation and their surveillance, she couldn't move about freely. So that's why you... My sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst. Prepared for the worst? She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice. You mean she was ready to kill me, don't you? She already had so much to answer for, didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance. How old is Iris Dahlia? 25? That's why you came to me? You came to get the bottle pendant back for me in her place? But I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 8 months passed and I still couldn't get it back from you. It's shockingly acceptable this game. Yeah, I know, they're like the same age, right? Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that it ever happened. That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crime and she would confer with you. I think she must have noticed... Noticed what? My feelings for you. If I had found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her. Even if it meant her life. Or mine. Iris. After spending those 8 months by your side, my feelings towards you, they changed. I have something to say to you too. Yes? You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you. Thank you. How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I'll tell you though, right now. This one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Get automated, bitch. Don't you think so, Phoenix Wright? Oh shit, he has coffee, and he's drinking the coffee. Yeah, I think you're right. The purpose of this trial was to rule on the murder of the victim Elise Donim. At some point, I expect you will be tried for your role as an accomplice in this case. I understand, Your Honor. Very well. Tune up, how are you doing? Must have been a shitty life of coffee. True. Very well, in the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant not Quilty. See what I mean, Toxie? It's not a mug of infinite coffee, it's infinite mugs of coffee. That's how Phoenix got it. Court is now adjourned. February 10th, that time. So I guess it's all over. The way everything ended, was justice really served? The man who risked his life to save Maya is being sent to prison by my own hand. Yeah, Toxie was saying that it's an infinite mug of coffee. A mug of infinite coffee. I'm saying it's an infinite mugs of coffee. Because new ones keep sliding in from stage right. Of course, justice was served. Mia, I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant. But I couldn't save Mr. Armando. He just has a coffee assistant, y'all be tripping. No, you're wrong. The man who cared so deeply for you. You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him in the only way possible. Dumb bird. Excuse you. Excuse you. Oh yeah, now that we're at the end of this game.
I have to finish what I started.
When you also have the case without you, yeah. You mean, without a verdict? I think one day you'll understand too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You were as good out there today as any defense attorney could ever hope to be. There's something more you can learn from me. Mia, you've accomplished something I wasn't able to. I owe you a great deal. Thank you. Mia. I'm sure we'll meet again someday, Phoenix. Oh, she's just not going to show up anymore? I've handled lots of cases and seen lots of things. Along this journey, I found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? I suppose today's case produced one possible answer. Nick? Maya. Yes, just like my sis said. Mia, what did she say? That night, when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this is what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry, Phoenix will save everyone in the end. But, come on, cut it out with that gloomy face. Can't you see, me, sis? And I'm sure Iris too. We owe you for everything you've done for us, Nick. Maya. How can you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened? You were brutally attacked. You even saw your mother murdered. Ouch. Franziska. Still as softy as always, Phoenix, right? Excellent work, right? Huh, Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back? Are we going to have Winston Payne here? Oh, that's right, I guess no one filled her in on that. Edgeworth and Franziska have actually been helping me. Helping you? God, these two were involved, yeah. If these two hadn't been here on the first day of the trial, the judge was ready to find her guilty in the first day. The defense wouldn't have gotten anywhere. Wow, but where were you, Nick? I already fell into a river and caught a nasty cold that forced him to sleep all day. Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever with Iris's hood pulled over his head. Oh, ouch. Talk about embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Still need a proper team up with these three. What we need is a D&D party with these three. We definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. And you too, Franziska? I don't suppose... Fuck off, Larry. Just whip the stand. There's room for me in this group hug, is there? Yeah, you do have, Convarma. Larry, can't we just get rid of you already? Oh, Larry. What's with the, longer than usual face? I realized something when I was reborn. I realized that Larry was never of any use to anyone, not even once. That's not true, right, Nick? What? You're asking me? Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I want to save in case I have to give something to him. I knew it. Everyone would be better off if I were gone for good. No. Oh yeah, those portraits you painted, they were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? What? Me? Why are you making that face? Huh, Edgy? Oh, well, yes, indeed. I certainly can say that they lack resemblance. Do you really mean it? What about you, Franzi? Did I draw you well too? Ah, my beauty can't possibly be captured by a mere crayon. Glare. Nevertheless, I recognize the effort you put into it, and that's worth something. Then you'll do it, like you promised? You're going to model for my next picture book, Franzi's Wibbity... Oh, don't get carried away. I only know about Larry, but I want him dead. He's been the cause of a lot of issues. Well, how about that? I guess painting portraits is the only thing I'm good at. The painting of Pearl is pretty darn good too, if you ask me. Huh? Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her around. Pearls... Where could she have gone? Only she would have made a beeline for Maya. Oh, I'll go look for her. Be right back. He's called Larry Butts, yeah. Hey, Pearly. We have been asking him to get himself out of this pain to get into this stream. Yeah, right. You seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. I suspect you were wondering how Maya can be so cheerful despite all that has happened. Yeah. To be honest, I can't understand it either. Franziska, that's right. She lost her father fairly recently as well. I think I understand how she feels. Maya is a much wiser person than she appears, and I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can. What do you mean by now is exactly the time? Maya wasn't the only one that was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. It is for that person that Maya is trying her best not to cry. Someone who was hurt more deeply than Maya? Again, I guess I have to choose the right one. Edgeworth, I think I'm starting to understand, too. Ow! And tell me, Phoenix, Wright, who was Maya Faye being strong for? Is it Pearl? Pearl Faye? The poor kid, after all, the reason that she worked so hard to follow the instructions, because she loved and believed in her mother, Morgan. For the good of the Faye clan, I'm sure she believed in every last word. She thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. It shows how truly devoted she is to Maya. But it's a cruel irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. Maya Faye's mother was killed and Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable. And that's exactly why Maya is putting on a brave face. She's doing it for Pearl's sake, till she can see her smile again. Oh, hey, so this is where you all were. Wow, looks like we've got quite the bunch here today. Ouch. What was that for, sir? Sorry about that, Scruffy. My whip just seems to have a mind of its own. What's up, Detective Gumshoe? Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go out tonight, pal. Dinner's on me. My salary's just sort of kind of gone down by a teeny weeny bit, but it's alright. I made reservations at a first-class French restaurant tonight. Ah. Pretty good work, Scruffy. That whip was a reward. Detective Gumshoe? You said a first-class French restaurant. You don't mean... Très bien, where else? I knew it. We're doomed. Come on, let's go, everyone. Can't keep Maggie waiting, pal. Hey, you, Crybaby, you're invited too. Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser's shack eating potatoes. He's getting a pay cut, yeah. You know, Maya's taken an awfully long time to get back. He's still out looking for pearls. Oh, Maya. What's wrong? Nick, what do I do? Pearlie. I can't find her anywhere. Huh? I bet she just went back home. And that's all. I thought so too, so I called the village. But no one has heard from her. This has never happened before. As I figured, she's been badly hurt by this incident. She feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Maya. But none of this was her fault. What should I do? Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, what is it, pal? Could you guys go on ahead? But what about you? Maya and I we'll join you guys once we find pearls. Nick. Don't worry about us, Detective Gumshoe. Maybe a little late, but we'll definitely be there. We have a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah, but you're the... Ah. Very well, Phoenix, right? We'll go on ahead. Don't keep us waiting, right? We won't. But where should we look? Where could Pearlie have gone? Let's go, Maya. There's one place I can think of that pearls might have gone to. Hazakura Temple. For pearls, I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where this whole incident started. What's this? You're all back again so soon? Sister Bikini? I thought we'd be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight. So she's here? Pearlie is here? She's in the training hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her? Okay. Pearlie's not here. Ah. Maya, the hanging scroll. Ah. Someone cleaned it off. It's got to be pearls. Ah. Mystic Maya. Pearlie. Why? Why did you just leave like that? Mystic Maya. Mystic Maya! I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again. Because it's all my fault that Mystic Maya's mother... That's why you came here? It's the least I could do, to pray for your happiness. You don't have to do that, Pearlie. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course I'm sad my mother is gone, but how do I say this? I'm still happy. You don't have to lie just to make me feel better. No, really. It's true. The only reason I'm still here at all is thanks to everyone who's there for me. My sis, my mother, Mr. Armando, Nick, and you. If even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't still be alive right now. That's why I have to be strong. For all the people that were there for me when I needed them. That's all I can really do. Mystic Maya. I'm impressed. You truly are the daughter of Mystic Misty. Sister Bikini. Your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I want to tell you what she said to me that night. He's been cut so much fun, I gone full circle. He's the highest paid detective in the entire precinct, yeah. After dishonouring the good name of Kirain, I don't have the right to face my daughter. But still, Maya's always in my thoughts. It's true. She'll always be with me until the day I die. Your spirit was with her. That's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets. She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh? There's a rule or something all masters are to follow, isn't there? To never take the charm off until the day you die? That's the master's talisman. The thing that Misty kept by her heart and would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important, rather it was the contents. That's... a photo? Ah. Mother. It's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. What makes us human is that we fight for others. But who did you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the true measure of what human life is worth. We defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question. It was broken before. And Maya and Mia. Even when the battle is over and the bonds that connect us are severed, we always return, time and time again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando, and Maya's mother too. I learned that from all of them. Well, shall we get going? Everyone's waiting. Ah, this is a day to remember, a day when a lot of things were finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today. But I still can't. Oh, go on, sweetie. You can come back for training anytime. Okay. Alright, I'm going to make a brand new start too. Mr. Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise. I know, and I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for 3 for when you come back. The only war in the entire Phoenix Wright series is Phoenix Wright, and that is because he's participated in Marvel vs. Capcom, true. Although, can't you get like a Larry Butt skin in that game? But I can't remember. Ha ho ho ho, hee hee hee. Alright, you're going to have a great feast today, Pearly. You know why? Because training is a battle of endurance. Okay, Mystic Maya. Forgot he was in that. I'll eat lots of food tonight. You know, there's one thing I don't get, and probably don't want to, but... what is it, Nick? Reservations for training is fine and all, but why for 3? Come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time you can train right alongside us. Huh? I'll be waiting for you. Sister Bikini will take special care of you. Huh? Huh? It'll be great, Nick. We're going to do the special course, naturally. Ha ha ha. That's a great idea after all, Mr. Nick. You'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? We're going to have one final objection. Even walk on hot coals, right? We'll have a nice big meal before we come next time. Right, Nick? You know, I was wondering if I can say just one little thing. Sure, of course you can. Oh, I love this part. I can't wait to hear it. I'm getting goosebumps too. Yep. Well then, here goes nothing. Cool. So that was Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. Oh, I really have to work extra hard now. Master Kirain and the office manager of Wright and Co. Law offices. I have to be a good big sister to Pearly and Nick too, as long as I'm not locked up or captured or something like that. Yes, well, we'll sit through the credits until we get everyone's name through. So it's true, Mr. Nick really is Mystic Maya's knight in shining armor. He went through with a special course all the way to the end. Actually, I heard there's a legendary extra special ultra course here too. I think I'll surprise the two of them by making them a secret reservation. You accuse of murder still? I think she does it in the future as well. New jacket? Maggie bought me a brand new coat as a present, pal. I feel 10 years younger. I'll never take it off. Yes, but somehow you just don't seem the same. I guess a dirty, shabby old overcoat is just more detective-like, sir. Don't worry about it. In the name of love, a man will soil himself silly. Alright, Gumshoe, calm the fuck down. Oh, fuck me up. Ah, yes, Andrews. Mr. Wright, I'm once again in your debt. Thanks to you, the Treasures of Curian exhibit was a great success. You even got to see Miss Von Conroy, who I hadn't seen for almost a year. She taught me how to use a whip, and said that I must show you what I've learned. His pals will be ground to dust. I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure he still doesn't know what sex is. Hold Asti back. This and I started a company called Master to Mask Consulting. We're dedicated to stopping the evil plans of all the criminals in the city. The motto is, cut it out, please. Pretty cute, huh? Well, we also sell plans to the criminals as a kind of side business. I wonder if that's okay. Otherwise I think maybe we're the worst criminals. Got him in a safe. Yes. Or if he's not here, he'll have missed Ron Delight being back on screen. Oh god, her. I wanted to show my appreciation to Mr. Wright for exterminating Don Tigro, so I lent him 500,000 and a tea set. A special thick tea, one I mixed with my own 2 hands. I bet he's drinking it now. Win through compromise, he. Thick tea? No idea. I'm just old and in the way, a wrinkly, grumpy, clown-nosed waste of flesh. At least that's what I thought. But my grandkids had a birthday party for me the other day. Talk about embarrassing, 69 years old and I cried like a baby with a dirty diaper. As usual, we have an abundance of work to do. We've hired a new programmer to replace Glenn Elg. I do hope everyone will get along. His name is Adam Mada. As soon as I heard his name, I knew our brain circuits would align perfectly. My, more reporters? Since the murder, we've made so much money I hardly know what to do. I think the magazines like us because it provides such a nice visual, especially in spring. I can hardly wait for Iris to come back. Brain circuits, yeah, I know. Don't question it. You've turned into such a respectable man, Feeney. It was so sweet of you and everyone else to come and visit me here the other day. Of course I was happy that you constantly had your eyes on me, but I felt kind of bad when the little one slapped you so hard you got a nosebleed. Phoenix Wright, Ben Grommen Judd. What a fucking name. Sion King. Objection! Christina Catano. Hairflick. Objection! How too many voice actors for the series, yeah. Godot, James C. Wilson. They had to hire the array, but for very few things. President McCormick, Janet Sue. Was it paying David Crislip? Old bag, what's this? I'm back from a long and tiring vacation and no one is here to greet me. I guess while I was gone, my little whippersnapper buddy quit and now I've got no one. What kind of a lonely, crazy security room is it supposed to be anyway? All the flashing lights and switches feel like some sort of space alien. Now what I'm going to do with all these macadamia nuts I brought back for everyone. I brought them to Edgy I say you saw them. I said those, I'm afraid, or something as painful as fragile heart. Oh, and I'll never find a gentleman who will treat me like a fine lady. Ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Finally found something I love to do. Franzie's Whippity Whip trip is going to turn the art world on its head. Back from dinner, you missed Ron Delight. I should have realised it sooner, self-centered, lazy, antisocial. I'm an artist. A really good portrait artist. I'm not a loser after all. Yep. Yeah. Watch the VOD, you fucking YouTube scrub. I mean, nice to see you back, Asti. Yeah. That is good art. I do like that. Clap. Microphone doesn't pick it up. So yes, that was Phoenix Wright. I hope everyone enjoyed. It's an emote? Oh, okay. So here's the question. Here is the question. So the Dead Space remake is out on Friday. Do we take a break tomorrow and come back again Friday, or do we do a single stream on Friday? I would single stream on Thursday of something random. What do we do? I already played the Callisto Protocol. True. So do we take tomorrow off or nay? Could do a multiplayer tomorrow. Don't want a break. So what we done on the Friday? Let's see, what games do I have? Games do I have that I could do? If you want a break, then take it. Yeah, I might take a break tomorrow, actually, if that's okay with people. You're right, that I won't vote either way. Okay. Now, the other question is, we know we're doing Dead Space. However, do we spin now or after Dead Space for what the next game is? Spin now? Now? Okay, please give me 1 second. Let me open this up. To just chatting. Yeah, I agree. So, we are in the just chatting. Are we ready for a spin? Hashtag spin. See if I'm getting a vote. Let's go now then. Alrighty. Gonna move that over to the side so I can. Oop. So 3, 2, 1. Portal RTX. So that's going to be the game after Dead Space. And as usual, we do when we finish a game. Right click, manage, install. So, yes. I hope everyone thoroughly enjoyed Portal, baby. What is that? Just a remake? It's Portal with RTX in it. We haven't done Portal on stream yet, so I figured why not. So people wanted Portal. So yeah. That uninstall hurt whatever is left of my soul. It's closure. That's what it is. But yes, I will take tomorrow off, and Friday we'll be back with the Dead Space remake. Is there anyone around to raid? Anyone around to raid? Let's go Phoenix Wright. Let's mute that. And let's go to this person. What are they like? You know what? Fuck it, I'm just going to end the stream. So yes, thank you one and all, and I will see you Friday. Take care.